Call the meeting to order. Roll call, please. You good? All right. Moving on to announcements. Mike?
Okay, thank you. I do have just a few things this evening. First, you have a revised report in front of you related to item 21. Secondly, I want to remind you that your state disclosure form is due by the end of January. That's something you should be familiar with, having done that before. Also, you all are invited to a work session on January 29th at 5:30 here in the auditorium. Christy Ransom provided you some information regarding that, and she'll elaborate on that later in the meeting. Finally, I want to mention, I think that everyone probably knows by now that this is Joe Horn's last Planning Commission meeting. Joe has served Williamson County for the past 32 years in a pretty remarkable way. He's had a fantastic career, responsible for a lot of great things that have taken place and seen a lot of change, handled a lot of growth through the years in some challenging situations. And I just want to say on behalf of staff that we appreciate all that you've done, Joe. Congratulations on your retirement, and you will be missed. Having said that, I'll turn it back over to you, Mr. Chairman. I know that you have something for Joe as well.
We do. Joe, we appreciate your leadership. We have a plaque for you, and I'll read that first. Resolution of appreciation. I'll try to say my words correctly. Whereas Joe Horn has faithfully served the citizens of Williamson County for the past 32 years, and whereas Joe Horn worked as the planning director for Williamson County from 1991 to 2002, during which time he served as the primary staff liaison to the Williamson County Regional Planning Commission and was responsible for numerous successful planning efforts that greatly benefited the county. And whereas Joe Horn served as the Community Development Director for Williamson County from 2002 until his retirement in January of 2024, overseeing the efforts of the planning, engineering, codes compliance, building codes, and sewage disposal management. And whereas during his long and devoted tenure with Williamson County, Joe has consistently demonstrated his intelligence, wit, and strong dedication to sound land use and transportation planning. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Williamson County Planning Commission that, in recognition of his countless contributions to the success of Williamson County in helping to guide its growth during his tenure while ensuring the continued health, safety, and welfare of all of its citizens, we wish him well in the future endeavors on this, the occasion of his retirement, and express our sincere gratitude and appreciation to Joe Horn. Thank you, sir. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
And with that, there you go.
Very nice. Thank you very
Thanks,
much.
You have any words?
Probably too many. Anyway, at any rate, what I want to say is I appreciate everything y'all did tonight. I am looking back, and I did a little ciphering today just in case something like this would come up. I have probably attended somewhere in the range of 400 Planning Commission related meetings in the past 32 years. That includes regular meetings like this, special meetings, a number of dreaded meetings, and alike. We got a lot of good work done here. We truly have. We've dealt with a county that when I stepped here was about 81,000 people. We're 460-ish now based on the last thing I looked there. So it's a big county, had a lot of help here with my staff. They've been very dedicated, very loyal. A couple of people I want to call out. First of all, I want to recognize Sammy here. Sammy's done an exemplary job as chairman. I also want to call out John Lackey, Sammy's immediate predecessor, who did much for this and was very much a mentor to me. Half the people I want to call out aren't here tonight. One of them is Steve Lane, and the other is Don Crohan, because remarkable as that is, they've served this commission longer than I've served it. And so that's an incredible thing, and I think I made slightly more than they did, at least here. At any rate, I just want to thank all the planning commissioners that I've served with. Many, many, many fine people. We have at least one county commissioner here. I'll thank her on behalf of the rest of the county commissioners. And I want to thank the mayor's office. I served under 3 different mayors, and I always felt like they listened to our ideas. Some crazy, some not. But that aside, I think that kind of support is instrumental in what we've been able to accomplish. And finally, I have my staff here as well. And I want to remember my family. They missed, those 400 or so meeting nights. I missed quite a few things with my family, and they seem to have forgiven me. So I had some kind of strange, nonlinear aphorism I was planning on making, but I just want to say I'm honored, I'm touched, and thank you very much.
Thank you. All right. Moving on, public comment period. Was there anybody that signed up? No, we had nobody signed up. Moving on to next item being consideration of the minutes from the last meeting. Do we have any comments on those? Commissioner Rose?
At the very tail end of the minutes, it says they were approved on January 11th, 2024. We haven't approved them yet. Is that kosher? Is that the way that's supposed to read? Or should it have read December?
These the minutes we're approving were for last
Approved
month. They're
on
going to
this-
be approved today.
On this date here.
Yep.
Okay, all right.
Any other questions? Do I have a motion? Second? We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. Moving on to consideration of consent agenda, Commissioner Hatcher.
Yes, I would like to recuse myself of the consent agenda tonight.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Are there any other items that we need to pull from the list before considering them as a whole? Hearing none, do I have a motion on the consent agenda? Thank you. Do I have a second? We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion, abstain, and motion passes. Moving on to old business, non-residential site plan review for High Park Hill subdivision amenity area containing 6.56 acres located off of Murfreesboro Road in the 5th voting district. Staff?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So up on the screen, we're going to do a PowerPoint presentation for you rather than do the entire report word for word. So to orient yourselves, this is Murfreesboro Road, High Park Hill subdivision, where the star is coming up. This is where the amenity center will be located inside Section 3 of the development. This is the outline of the proposed amenity center. We have the tennis courts here in the green. Then we have the pickleball courts. Then there is a 96 square foot restroom facility and a fire pit. Excuse me, the amenity center is located in the open space of Section 3. I do want to point out that amenity centers embedded within the residential neighborhoods and located within the open space are classified as private recreational centers and are for the exclusive use of the residents of the subdivision. And finally, staff does recommend approval of the site plan with the standard conditions outlined in your staff report. including the submission of the revised HOA documents and the posting of a performance bond for both the collection system for the wastewater and the landscaping.
Thank you. Do we have any questions for staff on item 19?
My question is, please remind me, on this subdivision, is it a gated subdivision or no?
Yes, this will be a gated subdivision.
Any other questions? Do I have a motion? Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion passes. Moving on to non-residential site plans, I need to recuse myself from this item, so I'm going to turn it over to Don Crohan to handle this, and I'll be back.
Item number 20 is a non-residential site plan for Wiley Farms non-traditional wastewater treatment and disposal system containing 580.45 acres located off of Del Rio Pike in the 9th voting district. Staff.
Thank you, Mr. Crohan. This is the complete site. It is approximately 580 acres in size. It is located on Del Rio Pike. It's fronted on two sides, as you see on the screen. We have the wastewater treatment system is located in the southern corner of the property. It is bordered on one side by the Harpeth River, and it is encumbered by part of the Harpeth River's floodplain. And then also Whitehall Farm subdivision is, to the approximate north. This is a blow-up of the corner of the property. Here in the red is the treatment system itself. Here in the green is the storage pond. In this brownish orange are the primary disposal areas, and then here in the green is the backup soils area for the site. The total property is approximately 580 acres in size. There's 12.6 acres will be used for the wastewater system. It's located near the southern boundary of the site. The CCN, the Certificate of Convenience and Necessity, has been issued, as has the draft state operating permit from the state has been issued as well. The DDR and the DSIR have been reviewed by the county's wastewater consultant, and he is recommending approval from a wastewater standpoint. The ordinance standards have been met, with particular the natural resource protection standards and for the specific components of the wastewater treatment system. And staff recommends approval of the site plan with the standard conditions for water treatment and disposal systems as outlined in the staff report, including the the posting of a performance bond for the treatment and disposal system.
Applicant present. You have anything to add?
That covers the standard step system.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions from staff or from the commission?
I have a question, Dawn. Do we know how many homes are going to be built or how many lots?
Because I do not know for sure, Aaron, do you have a, because we're just handling the step system.
Commissioner Baldry, there will be 69 lots.
Other questions? Have a motion? Have a second?
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Moving on to public hearings. Item number 21, proposed amendment to the zoning ordinance, section 1106, related to telecommunication tower setbacks and notification provisions. Before we start the staff report, did we have anybody sign up? No? Okay. Would you like to speak? Okay, let's let, the, no, county
Commissioner, it's
commissioner,
fine.
yeah. So, staff, attorney.
Okay, thank you,
Yes.
Mr. Chairman. You have on the screen the actual draft of the amendment. I'm not going to read the staff report because we're not doing that anymore, so I'm just going to give you a synopsis. Some of the county commissioners had been hearing from some of their constituents about concerns related to the traditional cell towers being constructed on school property and the towers' distance from the school and also from residential dwellings. And so as a result, some of the county commissioners asked me to prepare an amendment to the zoning ordinance. Right now, the setbacks for the tall towers, because remember we have a tall tower section and a small tower section, basically consists of the fall radius of the tower. And so asked that that setback be increased. Additionally, they asked that there be some different notification standards. Right now, there's not notice provided to the adjacent property owners when a tower is being constructed because it's a staff level approval. And so what I have drafted in response to some of those requests is a setback from the traditional towers of 1,500 feet from a school building that's used for the education of students. And the reason I drafted it that way is because we have several school buildings out in the county that are no longer actually used for school kids. It's used for, they've been repurposed. So I didn't want to necessarily just wipe those out of use from a setback, but then also the setback applies to residential dwelling units. The other part of the amendment is that property owners that have property adjacent to the site on which the tower is proposed will be given notice of that by the tower provider. And that notification has to contain information related to the type of tower, you know, whether it's a how many providers are going to be on it, and that type of thing. And so that has to be done before the full application so that the proof of that notice is part of the application process. And the reason I chose adjacent property owners is because that's how we do other notification of planning and zoning matters. So that's what essentially what this proposal is. It will be an amendment to the zoning ordinance. Rather than recommending action this evening, the revised report that you received today, and that's on your desk, is I'm recommending that you defer it until your February meeting because now this work session has been scheduled on January 29th. It will be a joint meeting between the Planning Commission and the County Commission, and it's got two topics, and one of the topics is the zoning amendments and telecommunication towers in general, and that type of thing. The other half of the meeting is going to be about the urban growth boundaries. So it's mainly an opportunity for you all to have in a county commission to be able to ask questions, to get some additional information that might be more cumbersome in a formal meeting. So that's on the 29th at 5:30. So because of that, I thought it would be best if y'all defer action until your February meeting. And that still allows it to go to the county commission in February because you all meet before the county commission does in February. So that's it in a nutshell.
Perfect. So now's the time for the public meeting on that. We didn't have anybody in the public sign up, but we do have Commissioner Sturgeon, and I'd be glad to open the podium up to you if you would like to speak.
I just came because I'm very grateful that you guys are considering this resolution. I have heard from a lot of residents, and I myself was concerned, that the safety of cell towers is not a known thing and I'd hate to find out 10 years from now or sooner that they're more dangerous than we thought. So, and I'm glad that you put in the notice to adjacent landowners, because nobody wants to be surprised by that. Oh, and I also wanted to say thank you for having the explanation before the public comment. That's the way it should be. So I just wanted to show my support for this measure, and thank you all for your service. So.
So, at this time, since we are going to have the open forum, or the, later in the month, opportunity to discuss, I would like to just have a motion for deferral, and we can discuss it at that point or at our February meeting, if that works.
Could I ask a question?
Yes.
What was the prior setback?
The setback right now is just whatever the fall radius is of the tower. So if it's a 150-foot tower, then that would be the fall radius, unless they can provide, sometimes the monopoles now can be engineered where they buckle over instead of just fall like a tree. So if there's an engineering statement showing that the fall radius should only be 70 feet, then that's what that setback is.
Thank you. Do I have a motion for deferral? Do we have a second? We've got a motion and a second. All those in favor of deferral, say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. Moving on to item, 22. I need to recuse myself again, but this one's pretty simple, so I'll turn it over to Don Croham.
Have nobody signed up for this one either in the public. Okay. Public hearing, this is a concept plan review for Wiley Farm subdivision containing 69 lots on 580.45 acres located off of Del Rio Pike in the 9th voting district. Staff?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The applicant is requesting deferral until the February 2024 meeting, and staff does concur with this request.
Motion for deferral.
I move we defer to February.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, sir. Moving on to preliminary plats, item 23, preliminary plat review for High Park Hill subdivision, Phase 4, containing 40 lots on 81.11 acres, located off Murfreesboro Road in the 5th voting district. Staff?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Here you can see the preliminary plat that shows High Park Hill located off Murfreesboro Road. The new phase will be this section located in the pink. The phase totals approximately 81 acres. It will contain 40 lots and approximately 67 acres of open space. Roads within the development are private. This plat is consistent with the revised concept plan. Water will be provided by Mill Crofton Utility District. Wastewater handled via Kings Chapel wastewater system. And staff recommends approval with standard conditions outlined in the staff report.
Thank you. Do we have any questions on item 23? Can I ask one? So all the roads in High Park Hill are private?
Yes, sir.
Any other questions? Any discussion? Yes, Commissioner.
It will be gated, I believe, once Phase 5 has been completed.
Anything else? Hearing none, do I have a motion? Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye, please. Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. Item 24, preliminary plat review for Stone Ridge subdivision, large lot easement containing 5 lots on 69.98 acres located off of Harpeth School Road in the 2nd voting district. Staff?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This property is located off Harpeth School Road. The property is approximately 70 acres. It will be a large lot easement subdivision to create 5 lots off a 50-foot ingress egress utilities easement, and you can see that in pink. running from Harpeth School Road towards the back of the property. The natural resource protection standards have been met. That does include steep slopes, a hilltop, wetlands, and tree canopy. Water will be provided by HB and TS Utility District. Wastewater will be handled via on-site septic, and the Department of Sewage Disposal Management has approved the request. Staff recommends approval with standard conditions outlined in the staff report.
Thank you. Any further discussion on item 24? Any questions? Hearing none, do we have a motion on item 24? Do I have a second? Have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. Moving on to final plats, item 25 was on the consent agenda. Moving on to item 26, final plat review for Fairhaven subdivision containing 49 lots on 54.59 acres located off Bethesda Road in the second voting district. Staff.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The plat is up on your screen. Fairhaven is located off Lewisburg Pike and Bethesda Road. Bethesda Road is the road which it gains access from. The development totals 54.59 acres. It will include 49 lots and approximately 37 acres of open space. Roads within the development are private. The development will be gated, and off-side roadway improvements have been completed, including a left-hand turn lane on Lewisburg Pike and a right-hand turn lane on Bethesda Road. The plat is consistent with the concept plan and the preliminary plat. Water will be provided by HB and TS Utility District, and wastewater will be handled via a non-traditional wastewater treatment and disposal system, and staff recommends approval with standard conditions outlined in the staff report.
Thank you. Any discussion on item 26? Hearing none, do I have a motion for item 26? Do I have a second? We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. We've come to the end. Do I have a motion for adjournment? Motion. We're adjourned. Thank you.